Welcome to the Cut the Nets mock draft episode. The NBA draft is going to be this Thursday, June 22nd, and we've got a mock draft set up for all four of us. We got Meyer, Brian, and Andy, as well as myself. Welcome to this edition of Cut the Nets. We are so excited to start this mock draft. Are you guys excited?
I am pumped.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the lives of all these young kids change forever. But as a fan, don't really care. Knicks don't have a pick as of now. So, other than the excitement of the NBA draft.
Okay, look, all right. Drown your sorrows with the Knicks. Okay, the Rockets have the 4th overall pick. We're screwed. Okay, we should have had the second at least. So
okay, and you're not going to say the Knicks weren't screwed when we're supposed to have Zion
the
and
Knicks
we got
have a
RJ?
good core.
We were supposed to have Zion and we got Star J instead.
He's mid.
You called him Star J.
Yeah.
He'll have a good season next year. Mark my words.
He will.
He's mid.
Andy, don't be salty. Are you still salty from April, dude? It's been 2 months.
He's mid.
Are you still okay? You're still salty.
Let's get to the mock draft.
First pick of the draft. Yeah. Got to get my notes out, dude. The mock draft is my Super Bowl.
Okay. So
you do like the Browns, so it makes sense.
Yeah, that's right, because we never win it. Exactly right.
So who's first?
How do we want to kick this off? Do you want me to just start chirping?
We never started an order for this. Or a format.
I mean, I have my full mock. I think Meyer has one too. We can just, I can say who I think's going there, and then he can say who thinks going there, and we can discuss it or something.
Yeah, I mean, Andy, I saw your mock draft from 4 days ago that you sent. I agree with your first 6. So
okay, yeah, we could start there, and then wherever we split off, and then just obviously we're not gonna have that much to say about Wemby, but when it comes to where there's more debate, we can just kind of go one at a time from there. If you want me to lead us off, what do you guys think?
Well, I could still hit you with my hot take on Wemby.
Well, you're going to. Don't worry. So, all right, Jeremy, you want me to just roll, or do you want to go and then lead it into me or something? I don't know.
I think because this is an easy pick, I want to go first because I have the least amount of knowledge compared to the three of y'all when it comes to
go for it.
See, for the first pick, man, so many choices to pick. I don't know who to pick, man. You got this guy named Victor, who I don't know who the hell he is. Brandon Miller, Scoot Henderson. Man, it's just Victor Wembanyama to the San Antonio Spurs, first overall pick for me. I'm gonna go with Victor. Yeah. It was a tough choice, though. Really tough choice. I mean, you just couldn't. I couldn't tell who his people were, so it was a really tough choice. All right, really tough choice.
Last I checked, he was minus 20,000 to be the first pick, which means if you put 20K on him, you only win $100.
Wow. Minus 20,000.
Just stupid, really. Anybody else? Or are we cut and dry there, Brian?
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So, I think Wemby's the safe pick. He should be the number one pick. I'll be shocked if he's not. But
I am too.
I think I'm not a betting man, but I would put money on Wemby not winning Rookie of the Year. I think he is either A, going to struggle, or B, I'm not wishing for it, but he's going to suffer a serious injury. He, on a silver platter, reminds me of early Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chet Holmgren, and rookie year Kristaps Porzingis. This man is brittle. He needs to put on weight. Yeah, he's insanely gifted. He's skilled handles-wise and athletic-wise like Giannis is now. But the NBA, it's a tough ball game. You got to put muscle on, otherwise you're going to get hurt, dude. I still think he can be a generational talent, future Hall of Famer, all this great stuff, making San Antonio Spurs basketball great again. However, I think he needs to hit the gym. People in the basketball chat saw it. I was furious about the thought of him not playing Summer League because he was playing in France. He didn't go to college, didn't go to the G League Ignite or whatever. So he has no experience on United States basketball, different rules and everything. Now apparently they're saying he's going to be limited Summer League, which I guess is fine enough. But as great as he's going to be, because I think he will be great, he's not Rookie of the Year in my eyes. Going to be, I think.
Brian.
Yeah, so I think I think he's either going to A, not have a good rookie season, or B, get hurt, unfortunately. It's just, I've seen it happen too many times at this point. So that's where I am. But Wemby's still a great pick, Jeremy. He should be the number one pick. He will be the number one pick. He will have a great career. I just think it's going to start out slower than people think.
Brian, I'm not mad at your point about him potentially not winning Rookie of the Year, but I do want to push back on your point about him playing in France. He did play against like a lot of professionals compared to what these other prospects had to play. So I think that actually gives him an advantage over these other prospects, if anything.
And that's why I picked him, because he played against grown men compared to most of the players in this draft. And he was pretty much a double-double machine, and also had a lot of block shots. Not sure how
7'4" with a jumper.
Yeah, but hey,
that's
here's the thing. I disagree with Brian's take also, because the Spurs are a great organization when it comes to developing players. I don't think that they have sort of a health issue. The outlier is Kawhi Leonard, but that's neither here nor there. They drafted Tim Duncan, who was lanky as well when he was 19, but won Rookie of the Year as well as won an MVP in the next 4 years. So he also won his first championship in his first year as well. So I really do think second year. My bad, second year. He won his first championship in his second year. So, he got bigger in size. He was a different player, obviously, was more fundamentals. But he was tall, he was a big, and it was a lot more aggressive back then. I do think the Spurs will be able to monitor Victor's health and make sure he doesn't have any sort of significant injury in his rookie season. Your take on him being Rookie of the Year, I'm not really sure that really matters. I think it's more of what is the player he will become in the NBA in the coming years, and how many All-Star selections he'll have, how many All-NBA selections he'll have, how many rings he'll lead San Antonio, and how many times Charles Barkley will make fun of San Antonio more often. So
the women of San Antonio.
The women of San Antonio more often specifically. That's true. So that's why I picked Victor Wembanyama as my first pick.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Not a bad take for a non-college player, huh? Or non-college avid fan, huh?
Well, you didn't go to college,
Well,
so you're good.
That's right.
Yeah. Many of the first couple prospects didn't, which I think makes it a fun draft.
Yeah, Scoot also went to G League.
So am I. Who's next? Am I next?
Brian, go ahead. Why don't you pick for the Charlotte Hornets?
All right. Hello?
Pick what Jordan wouldn't do.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Charlotte Hornets GM Mitch Kupchak is calling me. All right, bet. All right.
Did you call him Kupchak? It's Kupchak.
Oh,
it is
whatever.
Kupchak.
Whoops. All right, I guess now I know why I'm on Cut the Nets and not in the war room. So with the second pick, we're going Brandon Miller. We're getting a guy with great size here. Coming out of Charlotte, a lot of stocks held up. We know what he can do. 6'9" at the wing, dynamic offensive weapon next to LaMelo Ball. Desperately needed a wing guy. So
we know what he can do.
So Brandon Miller, I think, is the pick here. I think it's the safest pick with kind of lackluster organization in Charlotte. There's even rumors that Miles Bridges might be coming back to Charlotte. That could be a nice little 3-4. In addition to playing with LaMelo on the side. So Brandon Miller, Charlotte to get him to the promised lands, hopefully in a few years.
I have to agree. I think they will go Brandon Miller here. This becomes a question of, I mentioned this on our past episode, but this becomes a question of, are you going to take who's the better fit for your organization right now, which I believe would be Brandon Miller with how he pairs with LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges coming back. This guy is the wing piece that I'm not saying that's the missing piece for them to be like a contender or anything, but with how young he is and how young the rest of the core is, this guy, you want to see this guy kind of be LaMelo's sidekick in the years to come. And I think that's what he has potential to do. However, with the Hornets needing pretty much everything, right now. They're terrible, so they need pretty much every position right now. You know, you maybe think, well, best player available, it would be Scoot Henderson then. You know, I think the interest that they're showing in him is more of a smokescreen. You can't rule it out, of course. Scoot is unbelievably athletic. He's 6'2", built like a grown man. Was really shining in the G League this year against pretty much professionals, almost the level of talent he's going to see this year. But I think Brandon Miller is the better fit for Charlotte right now. I'm interested to see which direction they go in their first draft post-Jordan ownership era. Wonder if that changes anything that they were thinking about doing before. But I think they're going Brandon Miller here. And that is my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
I mean, Brandon Miller is what Charlotte should pick. Are they going to pick it based on their history and their lack of playoff appearances? Who's to say? I'm going to say no on that. I don't think they're going to pick him. I think they're going to choose who has the most energy, who kind of lights the beam, who kind of lights the fire, you know? And it may not be the best option for Charlotte if they don't pick Brandon Miller. But for Brandon Miller, they need a defense. Defense, my God. They need defense. They need size. They need wing presence for LaMelo to make his players better. That's who they need.
He shoots well from the outside, too, for a guy his size. He shot, I think, 40% in the regular season this year for Alabama, which, you know, for a guy that's that tall, that's pretty much the best you can ask of him.
I mean, that's what he was coming for. That's what he was, you know, looked at before.
The only thing he has to improve on is his finishing. And also his ball hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, would agree on that. But, you know, as a guy that's that young, he's kind of just most big men are projects at that point, or like lanky wing guys. You hope that they can kind of get better at that finishing ability once they get a little stronger, a little more athletic, and get some finesse, dribbling moves going to the rim. But yeah, that's a very good point. That's probably the first thing I hope they develop with it.
All right. So who's got the third pick? Is that you, Andy?
Yeah.
Or was that Meyer?
I guess it doesn't matter. I know somebody here definitely wants to go fourth, a.k.a. Rockets fan Jeremy Gretzer.
I also, Meyer did want the Detroit pick, too. So
Sure. Okay. Well, I'll take us at number 3, the Portland Trailblazers. Given that I also think, I agree with Brian's decision that Charlotte's going to take Brandon Miller. I think Portland does go and take the best player on the board here, which would be Scoot Henderson. There's a possibility that they would maybe reach and take Amen Thompson or whatever it is, but I think Scoot Henderson's the best bet here. I mean, the guy would, if Victor Wembanyama wasn't here, I think he'd be the no doubt number 1 pick here. He's 6'2", 195. He is super explosive off the ball. You know, you're getting Russell Westbrook comparisons with how fast this guy can drive to the rim and stuff like that. And much like a young Russell Westbrook, concerns about his jump shot, but I think he shoots better than Russell Westbrook did at this stage of his career. He was another G League guy playing against grown men that I think really gives him the experience over, maybe that's what Charlotte sees. Maybe they see him as having better, like, applicable experience over Brandon Miller did when he played in college. But I mean, it really would be Scoot Henderson if Victor Wembanyama was not here in this draft right now. The guy is too explosive, too active on defense, can play, you want to throw all the intangibles out. He plays the right way. He's a coach's kid or whatever it is. The guy's really special. Whether Portland decides whether or not to keep him, if Scoot Henderson is still on the board by 3, they'd be stupid not to take him there.
I also see a little bit of Eric Bledsoe in this game, specifically the Phoenix Suns version.
That's like the only
the polished mid-range game almost.
The best version of Eric Bledsoe.
And his body type, too.
Yeah, because I think you said that before, Meyer. He's built like a grown man, and he's still agile and can get to the rim, throws down some thunderous slams, as the kids say. I'm excited to see wherever, whether he gets drafted to Portland, gets traded, Portland keeps him, Charlotte takes him. He might be my pick for Rookie of the Year, depending on where he goes.
I think if Portland is willing to give up the Dame thing, they go for Scoot. If they keep Dame and draft Scoot, it's kind of odd. I mean, I guess you could have that, take him under Damian Lillard's wing type of situation. But, that's a good thing for Scoot because he won't have anybody to sort of lean on to when it comes to leadership and veteran presence. But if you give up Dame and you get players in return and go for a rebuild, then you probably are the Blazers are probably going to have to sign veteran minimum players who are willing to be a leader in the locker room for these young players that come in. So it's sort of a hit or miss if Portland chooses Scoot. I mean, I kind of feel like they should choose or help trade this pick to if we want to have Dame on the roster, trade this pick for a defensive big or possibly a second scoring option alongside Lillard. So that's kind of my take on that.
Yeah. In my notes, I'll just say this real quick. My sleeper pick for someone to trade up with Portland to try and get Scoot Henderson if he's on the board, the Indiana Pacers. They have a boatload of picks. They have a lot of guards that they don't really need. I think they do want to start doing something with the Miles Turner, Therese Halliburton combo that we started to see. Well, mainly Halliburton was the star of the show last year, so let's keep the focus on him.
They also got Ben Mathurin, too.
Benedict Mathurin. And when you think about the other guards that they have, they have Nembhard, they have Aaron Nesmith and stuff like that. They don't need all of these guys. And the question what comes down to, with the amount of picks that they have and the amount of guards, do they think Scoot is that special for them to move up from 7 to 3 and potentially do that? And I think that's my sleeper pick. Don't quote me on it, but
they definitely have assets to get that pick from Portland, and Portland will get some decent stuff in return, especially with all that guard depth that the Pacers have. So, I mean, it would be a nice little compliment with Mathurin, with Halliburton. He'll probably have more of a 2-guard type of role because of Tyrese Halliburton's high assist count. I do think that's a really good. Also has like a nice size disparity with Halliburton and Mathurin being a little bit pretty much really tall, and you got Henderson who's got a 6'2", so a lot of size disparity there. I do like that size disparity for the Indiana Pacers if they go ahead and do that. I mean that'd be a nice little mission to accomplish for them if they pull the trigger and are able to do it.
That's my dark horse trade candidate, so watch out for it, folks.
Hey, good analysis on that one. For the 4th pick, unfortunately for the Rockets, we were neck and neck with the Pistons and Spurs to get number 1. I mean, Amen Thompson actually didn't have a good workout with the Rockets. I'll say that.
That's what I heard.
So that's kind of not really a good sign.
I mean, you can't necessarily make your decision based on a workout, though.
Understood. Obviously, yeah. But if it were me, they would pick Amen Thompson. I mean, they do need size, definitely, especially size with them with Şengün and Jabari Smith Jr. along with the small forward, so he'll fit right in with the small forward role for sure, definitely. I also do think that the Rockets may not be getting Harden. I
hope that doesn't happen.
They won't. I don't think they're going to be signing Harden. I just don't think it was sort of up in the air, floating up in the air for quite a few months, but I don't think Stone, based on him and Ime Udoka's game plan, I don't think they're going to bring Harden back to Houston. So I think they're going to really just have homegrown players that they draft and probably go after maybe Jaylen Brown, even though I don't think that's a good idea either. Nice one, Matt. I also think the Celtics are going to keep Jaylen Brown. They're going to try to see if they can work it with Jason Tatum's contract. So building within the draft, kind of developing players into potential All-Stars and MVP caliber players at the Rockets, I think Amen Thompson's a good pick for them.
Yeah, and they probably going to use him as a point and make Kevin Porter Jr. expendable.
That too. I've always wanted KPJ to be a 6th man through and through. I really feel like he'll excel in that role. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but I do think that his scoring is kind of lightning in a bottle, where it's there when you need it, but it's not consistent. So that's what
I've always viewed him. My bad. I've always viewed him as a lefty J.R. Smith.
Maybe a little bit better than J.R. Smith.
Has the potential to be, for sure.
Yeah. Are you talking about like Nuggets J.R. Smith or Knicks J.R. Smith? Not Cavs, obviously. But
both, really.
Both? Okay. I mean, I could definitely see that. But I'm not sure if Stone sees that. I mean, they signed him to that extension. However, the extension comes with caveats. Of course, they can always release him and not suffer the consequences year after year. It's his contract can be withdrawn after every single year, so which is a really good defense mechanism for the Rockets. So I just feel like with Amen Thompson, it puts more size alongside Jalen Green in the guard spot.
Yeah, I mean, I like this pick. Amen Thompson's the Rockets. I mean, he's got that superstar athleticism, and also he's a good playmaker. That obviously makes it appealing for any team. And I think the Rockets need someone that can do a little bit of everything from the offensive end. Only thing that scares me with Amen Thompson is his he's not the best shooter. He shot 25% from 3, so that's obviously going to be a work in progress. I think he's athletic and gifted enough offensively where it can get better. If he can get to like the low to mid 30s, that would be great for him. But yeah, I think definitely, like Matt said, though, he does gamble a lot, which is a little bit risky. And obviously, you're going to have those when you're young and stuff. But I trust that the Rockets can kind of fix that, and they know what they're doing. I think the Rockets can develop him into a great player. I think the Rockets, Jeremy, are finally going in the right direction, even though it might be a little slower than you would have liked. But I think this is a great pick.
Udoka is the key. Udoka's
exactly.
The combination of go ahead, Meyer. Sorry.
I would like to add, I've seen him get compared to John Moran a lot, but I don't really like that comparison. I actually see him more as Andre Iguodala,
which is a great option. I mean,
that's what the Rockets need right now.
They do,
honestly, though. Yes,
offense and defense,
especially defensively.
Yeah. Well,
not the universe on the line,
hitting his shots, but like facilitation and defense and size. So that's what
I want Iguodala.
Yes,
I want Amen Thompson.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's what they'll be saying in Houston.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, Meyer, you're up.
Now this is where the NBA draft really starts. With the 5th pick in the 2023 NBA draft, the Detroit Pistons select Cam Whitmore from Villanova.
I love it. Yep.
First college player.
And the reason why I decided to go this route is because last year, before he had his legal issues, they wanted to get Miles Bridges. And now they get a cheaper and younger version of that in Cam Whitmore. But he has to improve like his fundamentals still, but he's a burly athlete that could jump out the gym. But other than that, he's really just a jack of all trades and a master of none. So he's gonna have to round out his game. But he's still only 18 years old, so he has a lot of time.
Yeah. I also had Cam Whitmore to the Pistons at 5 here. What I wrote about him is I think he's a perfect guy to help the offensive load with Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey. Villanova taught him to play off-ball defense better than most do at this stage. He can finish at the rim pretty well. His 3-ball isn't fully developed. It's still an option for him, and I think that's great seeing that, Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey will probably still be dominating most of the possessions here. But yeah, echoing everything that Meyer said, I think this guy is the right take for the Pistons here, just to really try and solidify whatever kind of, I guess he's a forward. He's not technically part of the backcourt, but it pairs well with Mr. Ivey and Mr. Cunningham, I think. So I also have Cam Whitmore going 5.
So did I.
Watch any Villanova this year, Jeremy?
Well, according to this website that no one really knows, called The Ringer, they have him at 7th for the Pacers.
Okay.
With Anthony Black on the Magic, and the Detroit Pistons actually picked Jarris Walker. However, The Ringer is Bill Simmons, so say what you want about his opinion and stuff.
They're very hit or miss with their draft comps, too.
They are, yeah. So Cam Whitmore, there's a little summary about Whitmore. It says he would need to evolve some of his ball-stopping habits to shine with Tyrese Halliburton. So he would need to have sort of a defensive mindedness to stop the ball pretty well. I mean, you did say he's a jack of all trades, so he probably can be good at everything.
I think what they really mean by ball stop is that he doesn't really move the ball offensively at times.
Gotcha. Okay. So he's not much of a dribble person. He doesn't really dribble the basketball that much. He kind of just is a piece on the court for Halliburton to pass it to. Is that correct?
I think so. A ball stopper is kind of like a negative term, meaning like once you get the ball, like the ball doesn't move. But I feel like in the NBA, that's not really going to be his role anyway. He's going to be more off the ball.
Yeah. He would, based on what you said about his jack of all trades, an off the ball option would probably best because you would have Tyrese Halliburton have the ball in his hands for most of the plays, along with Ben Mathurin, who is a good second option. So, I mean, it would bring out the best version of him, kind of being like a bruising, like downhill attacker. Especially when he cuts the basket, possibly whenever he gets that cut pass inside and scoring upside with elite athleticism. I think that's probably the best fit for him. In Detroit, I think that's kind of what they really need. I mean, you have Cam Cunningham who's kind of making all the passes, all the moves, if he's healthy, right? You've got my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. Jaden Ivey, who's
Jalen Duren.
And oh yeah, Jaden Ivey, who's going to be probably the scorer mostly for Detroit. So it's a nice fit. They have a lot of a variety with this pick if they go Cam Whitmore at number 5. Even though they were given the kind of the short end of the stick at the number 5 pick, a lot of talent in this draft still after the top 3. So Cam Whitmore is I think it's a good fit for Detroit.
There we go.
All right. So number 6.
I think it's Brian, right?
Yeah. So there's 2 different directions I can go here. I could take the other Thompson twin. I have him go 2 picks later than his brother. Or I was also thinking Anthony Black. But 6th pick in 2023, back sports page, NBA cut the Nets draft. The Orlando Magic are going to get Anthony Black. Ooh. I just think that because they already got Anthony Black would be a perfect person to pair with Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero to average 12.8 points per game, 5.1 rebounds, and you give them someone that can play selflessly on offense and embrace his role on defense. I think it'd be even good to pair with Jalen Suggs. So that's who I'm going, Anthony Black to the Magic.
So that means they move on from Markelle Fultz then.
That's probably what I was thinking that too.
Yeah, or Fultz could even go back to the bench role.
I like him starting though.
Well, then, if Fultz were starting, then what would you select him in? What slot would you place him in? I mean, you got Wagner, you got Banchero, you've got.
Well, I was gonna take the other Thompson twin, but
I think him and
Wagner's really broken out.
Yeah, he has actually.
They also have him listed as a shooting guard on this website. I like to think he can definitely
he's a point guard.
Make as a point guard. Yeah. I mean, I think he's really. He might not be an absolutely like off the walls like this guy can get a bucket, no matter what and something like that. But like he has very polished game in terms of his playmaking. He helps very well on defense. I'm a huge fan of guys coming out of Arkansas because Eric Musselman was the coach there. I had him going 8 to Washington since they really needed a guy like him there as well. But I guess, after hearing what Brian had to say, I guess it does make sense for him to also go up to Orlando a little bit. I think the biggest question that's going to be for him will probably be his shooting ability. But I mean, it's the draft. That's just kind of how it works, I guess. Yeah, exciting to see what Orlando does there. After Brian, maybe Brian needs to make a call to the GM. He's got a good pointer.
Matt, to your point, I'm not mad at the Lonzo comparison, but I actually see a more athletic Josh Giddey.
Josh Giddey. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
he's had a pretty good season himself. I would definitely say, I would say Lonzo-esque. Maybe not like a carbon copy, but I think it's definitely there. And
with his trajectory, though, I mean, you're probably saying Lonzo before he, had this, string of injuries, even the first year of his career. Are you saying like UCLA Lonzo Ball, or like maybe Bulls Lonzo Ball before he tore his meniscus?
I'm saying like Bulls Lonzo Ball that like was a key contributor when they got like what were they, the 5 or 6 seed?
Yeah, before the injury. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was
Anthony Black is Yeah, Lonzo was hooping, and I
was.
I think the big thing on Lonzo was, this guy can play two ways. He's just very gifted on both ends of the court, and this is why Anthony Black's my favorite player in this lottery.
Yeah, at 6'6", he's literally like an oversized guard, like both Ball brothers. And I mean,
yep,
just that. But back to Jeremy's point, the Bulls were a 1 seed before Lonzo got hurt. Like,
Yeah.
he was a key contributor. They were balling.
Really hitting his high right there. It was pretty much peaking when it came to his play. Could have been an all-star, too, that year. Let's go to the 7th pick, y'all.
my time to shine.
7th pick, Indiana Pacers. What are we going with?
Yeah, so this differed from my mock a little bit. I had All-Star Thompson going 6 to Orlando, but I will stick with my 7th pick, who I think Indiana will take. And I think Indiana's in a great position here, whether they decide to make that trade with Portland or wherever they do or not with all the assets they have. But if they decide to keep this pick, I have Taylor Hendricks out of UCF going to the Pacers.
I like
You like it? Yeah. I mean, I guess I'll keep this simple. He's a 3-and-D guy. I think every team loves a 3-and-D guy. He's a good backcourt option with Miles Turner. Shot over 40% from deep. Like I said, the Pacers definitely are a candidate for a trade-up. Don't get me wrong. But I think Taylor Hendricks fits in well here also because of his defensive presence. It's not that he's not going to single-handedly change it by himself, but the Pacers were one of the worst defensive teams when it comes to like defensive efficiency last year. This guy is long, can guard people on the ball, had some really amazing blocks on defense this year with UCF, although the team didn't have that much success themselves. He's a 3-and-D guy. He's going to pair very well with Mathurin, Halliburton, and should be a good piece next to Miles Turner. The Pacers are in good shape if they take Taylor Hendricks.
All right.
If I had to give a comparison, I would compare him to Trey Murphy for those same reasons you just said.
Trey Murphy,
lottery pick last year, yeah?
Yeah. Nearly won the slam dunk contest.
Yeah, he was going up,
Nearly
though.
won.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing, because with how Tyrese Halliburton was sharing the ball last year, I don't know if offense is their biggest concern. Although with Taylor Hendricks, they'd be answering their defensive concerns both on the interior and, you can maybe even put him in as a stretch 5. You can, not only got guards in the interior, but whoever he needs to guard out in the wing as well.
Yeah.
And the guy can knock down threes. It's a lanky. They have him listed as 6'9". I think he's 6'8", around that range. Is a 3-and-D guy that can, provide you those threes as well on top of what he offers on the defensive end of the floor.
Okay.
That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
All right. So we're going to go with the Washington Wizards' 8th pick in the NBA draft. For the 8th pick in the NBA draft, the Washington Wizards will select the other Thompson, All-Star Thompson, for the Washington Wizards from Overtime Elite USA. So, the reason why I'm picking All-Star Thompson, I feel like I did some research on Amen Thompson and both Thompson brothers early on. And, of course, Amen Thompson was the more attractive player to pick. Also, Thompson pretty much does all the little things. He's a lockdown defender. He's a solid playmaker, not as good as his brother, but solid still. Really good off-ball defense, something the Wizards desperately need, especially with Beal's trade to the Wizards and them getting pretty much nothing. They're starting from the bottom now, so they got to really rely on wing players, 3-and-D, who are young, who can kind of do a little bit of everything, positional versatility and athleticism. The one thing, obviously, he needs to improve is his spot-up shooting. He's kind of still – he's not really much of a threat. Like, defense is kind of sag off of him. Until he improves his spot-up shooting, defenses really will look at him as sort of a non-factor for the offense when it comes to shooting like on the wing or when he's wide open. So, but when it comes to defense and 50-50 ball and off-ball defense, I think that's what the Wizards really need in order to sort of start their rebuild after Beal, and I think they're going to give up and trade Porzingis too. So, gonna go with that.
I think if he falls to 8, I think there's no doubt they take him. I agree with everything you said. The few games I was able to watch of All-Star specifically, I think he's a bit too reliant on his athleticism when he's trying to get open for some buckets, which, probably isn't a problem when you're playing in the overtime elite league or whatever. But that might cause him some problems in the NBA where everybody is, a top tier athlete.
Yeah.
But then again, projects like that have worked out in the past. That was a thing that people said about John Wall back in the day. And granted, he's been hurt and hasn't, he's nowhere near what he used to be. I don't think he's playing anymore. But that's my only gripe with him. But I think if he falls to 8, there's no doubt that Washington takes him.
Yeah, I think if he develops properly, he could be a player similar to Andrew Wiggins. Specifically, if he develops his shot and he continues to become a better defender.
Yeah. I do see that sort of ceiling for him, too. Well, maybe, I don't know. Right now, I know that Sean Livingston didn't shoot threes, but kind of like Sean Livingston has to me a little bit, too. Basically because of his size and the fact that he can play off ball and facilitate a little bit.
He can still create by himself, too. Yeah.
I'm gonna take the Jazz pick.
All right.
This one's a fun one, so I'm excited for this one.
This might be a controversial pick too. So, with the 9th pick in the 2023 NBA Draft, the Utah Jazz select Jalen Hood-Schifino from the University of Indiana.
Oh, I'm a big JHS.
So I don't know who Jarris Walker is, but why y'all skipping on Jarris Walker?
We'll get to Jarris. Don't worry, we'll get to him.
A comment that Rob made kind of turned me off.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I had Utah taking Jarris Walker here, but Meyer, let me not interrupt you. What do you see in Jalen Hood-Schifino?
So the reason I decided to go Jalen Hood-Schifino is, one, they don't really have a true point guard, and plus they're going to be losing Chris Dunn, who gave them solid minutes last season. So I think the best true point guard available is Jalen Hood-Schifino. And he actually reminds me of Killian Hayes as a prospect, even though he hasn't worked out in the league, but really good passer, really he gets to his spots, shows potential on defense, but has to improve his finishing and avoiding turnovers. But I feel like this is an underrated pick for the Utah Jazz.
As many are. Volker Kessler.
Yeah. So I'll be honest with you. This guy's probably the guy I know the most, the best out of the lottery picks that I have here. Mainly because he absolutely torched the Ohio State Buckeyes in the games that they played against him this year. It's funny because he has shooting concerns, and yet I think he shot 75% from 3 against us. But that's not the point. Let me not bring that up.
Was he just hot? Because, I'm reading this the Ringer scouting report, and they say that he's incredibly inconsistent, even though he has a handful of support performances.
So in the tournament when I remember he was kind of they lost to they were a 4, they lost to whoever the 5 seed was. They would have won the game if he shot rather at least could tread water in that sort of game, because there's been games where he single-handedly carried them to the promised land alongside Trace Jackson Davis, who's another sleeper pick, but we'll get to him. Yeah, he's looked great at times. He was the Big Ten Rookie of the Year. With how big he is at the position he plays, yeah, Matt brings up the point I was just about to say. With how big he is at the position he plays, very good on-ball defender, can definitely create some things there, creates turnovers well. I am shocked. I would be shocked to see him go this early, because I see I have him going just at the end of the lottery, and some people don't even have him going to the lottery at all. But I do think he has he's more of a project than some of these other guys here. He's not as polished, he's not as developed yet, but that doesn't mean he can't go really far. So, JHS, man, look out for him.
All right, I think Brian's next.
Oh, okay. I thought I was going to take the other Magic pick, but I can go at 10.
What do you want?
It's been a while. If you want to pick one?
Yeah, sure, I'll pick one. So, with the 10th pick, one player I love for Dallas is Kassan Wallace, but I think if this happens on draft night, they'd be foaming in the mouth to take Jarris Walker. I mean, he's a guy, combo forward with massive reach, can be a difference maker, make up for the wing losses that they had from the Kyrie trade when they got rid of Dorian Finney-Smith and Dinwiddie. So I really think that Walker could come in here, be a difference maker on defense, adds passing and playmaking, and just Walker's skill set is so unique. he's almost like a shooting guard in a power forward body at 6'9", 6'7", 249. So I really think that Walker is a great play for Dallas. Gets to stay in Texas where he spent his college ball at Houston. So I think Walker finally comes off the board here. Goes to Dallas.
I'd like to add, if he develops his shot and continues to be a versatile defender, I could see his career path being similar to Paul Millsap.
This is what they really need. They need defense. They need versatility. And this is what Jarris Walker can bring to them. I mean, with Kyrie and Luka, Kyrie's definitely re-signing with the Mavericks. If he doesn't, the Mavericks really just made probably one of the worst decisions they've made, if not the worst decision they've made in their NBA history. But if Kyrie does sign, which I'm thinking he will, it'll just be Kyrie and Luka with, minimum veteran players with hardly any defense. And so them getting lucky because they decided to not make the playoffs and got the 10th overall pick, this is definitely a gift-wrap player in their hands. Sorry, Brian.
The next pick if they made the playoffs.
Yep.
Cry.
Pain.
Yes,
Sorry, that was
cry.
weird.
So who's at 11? Do I get the Magic's pick again?
You can take Magic
go.
pick, Brian, yes.
All right. So we talked about it earlier in the episode. We had Sexland in Cleveland a few years ago. We got the new greatest duo in basketball. Suggs Dig. Give me Grady Dick from Kansas. This is a player that I love. This is a player that I loved watching. The Jeff Dahmer lookalike. I mean, he's a lights out shooter. At 40.3% from three, 14.1 points per game. Some would even say it's lethal. And just the things he can do as a shooter. Comes out of Kansas. Kansas is always built on the 3 and D. So he's great. He's great on defense.
The New Jersey
at 6'6", at 6'6", 204. I mean, he's lanky. He can even play pretty much from a defensive standpoint. He can play anywhere from like the 1 to the 3. So I think Orlando can just keep using that young and versatile talent already with Wagner.
Thanks for censoring it, Matt. That was good.
Joining that young duo in Wagner, Pinchero, Suggs, and the recently drafted Anthony Black. It's a fun and exciting Orlando team that honestly, if like Hard Knocks, like the HBO thing with football, if they did that for basketball, I would love to see Orlando.
Yeah, a little bit of everything in that locker room for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
My biggest thing, I also have him going to Orlando here. My biggest thing and how he's going to help is you have a couple guys in Orlando that are still going to control a majority of the scoring in Paulo Banchero and Franz Wagner. Grady Dick with playing in Bill Self's offense at Kansas can do really well with or without the ball. And I think that's going to, I might not lift them all the way to being a contender or something like that, but Orlando has all the time in the world to develop these guys. And this guy might seem a little bit of a project, as most of some of the other guys we mentioned. But the fact that he, I think, can do so many different things on offense, whether he has the ball, whether he doesn't have the ball, whether he's in the post, whether he's mid-range, he's running around the three-point line. I think he's a good fit for Orlando here.
I was going to say, in the real draft, I think the Magic strategy should be for their 6th pick, their strategy should be best available, and then they go need at 11. And I think Grady Dick is definitely the perfect pick at 11 for them.
Yeah. Of course, Jalen Suggs, Dick, with that combo. So
can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong with that. Is it my turn?
Well, I said I wanted to take the 12th.
Go ahead, take the 12th, man.
So I'm a swing for the fences on this one. With the 12th pick in the 2023 NBA Draft, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Derek Lively II from Duke University.
Wow. Okay.
And why is that?
Okay, tell me why.
So the way they drafted recently, they drafted a lot of guys that had the long, lanky physical profile. Like they took Pokasevsky in 2020. They took Chet Holmgren last year. I think the only thing they're really missing is a center. And I think Derek Lively, if he develops properly, can be that final piece. I see him playing more of a Mitchell Robinson type role for them. if they do develop him properly. And I think it would be. I feel like him and Chet Holmgren, it'll be hard to score against those guys.
Yeah. I did not have Derek Lively going to the Thunder here, so that's why I was kind of saying wow. But when you put it like that, that's a good point. I think he could be, well, they have two Jalen Williams, but the Jalen Williams that plays like power forward center for them, Jay Will, I think. I see him as kind of like stepping into his role, maybe, starting at first and then Chet backing up after that. But I definitely see him being a good contributor here. The Mitchell Robinson comparison was really good. I did not have Derek Lively going this early, though. I'm interested to see, Brian, do you have anything to add? He's a Duke guy, so that's something, right?
Yeah, I mean, not a fan of him as a UNC fan, but I've seen a lot of Lively play. He's a solid defender and rim protector, good rebounder. The Thunder, they have their roster pretty much. It's more just all development. So, like, there's not really a positional need for the Thunder with where they're trajecting their roster. It's more just raw talent. And I think with the players available, Lively has the best untapped potential there. Honestly, if Lively keeps adding some muscle here, it's definitely insurance for Chet, like Matt said. But not only that, can even be like what Steven Adams was for them, just a solid rebounder, kind of knowing his role, not doing much offensively. But so I like this Lively pick here, but the Thunder can go in tons of different directions. Like, I have a sense generally where every team is going, but the Thunder is just the one team that I just can't put my finger on who they're going to take.
Yeah, that's a good point, Brian, because he wasn't even a scorer at Duke whatsoever. He might have had 6 points a game last time, but he crashed the glass well, shot efficiently when he did shoot. So if they're just kind of looking for somebody to kind of be just their go-getter guy, they don't need to do too much. They just have to do their role. Derek Lively the second would be a good pick there.
Yeah, he averaged 5 points per game at Duke.
Okay, yeah, he definitely was not their main scorer at all.
If he fell, he'd be a perfect Golden State Warrior.
They could use actual 5.
They could use some size instead of Kevon Looney. Because I would see Kevon Looney.
But to Looney's credit,
he's been doing well.
Well, Draymond just declined his player option too.
Yeah, he declined his player option. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying too. Because you only got Kevon Looney now, with Draymond being a small small 4, and then a 5 when they play small ball. But now Draymond declined his player contract. Is trying to look for a max, probably somewhere else.
I believe Golden State should go the mature route instead of going young with their pick. So I personally had them taking Chris Murray from Iowa. I think he would be a really good player to fill the role of Otto Porter and Nemanja Bjelica from a couple seasons ago.
Great shooter.
Yeah.
Because he's another guy that torched Ohio State this year. I mean, to be fair, we also sucked, but Chris Murray plays just like his older brother, who also has the last name Murray. Keegan Murray, that's his name.
Yeah, Keegan Murray.
Yeah. He's not as athletic as his brother.
No, Keegan's definitely the better prospect, but has a shooting stroke that is really unmatched by that many other guys here. Matt, can you find Keegan Murray or Chris Murray? There he is.
Yeah, 25.
Yeah, he's kind of like a low late first round pick.
No, I didn't have him going to Toronto. I was just saying that I would have him going to Warriors.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that won't be in the lottery that I think could definitely contribute to a team. He might only, be known as a scorer in this draft, but sometimes some teams might only need something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you never know.
Who's picking for Toronto?
I'll go ahead and pick for Toronto.
Jeremy, go right ahead.
Okay, so we got. Look at you, Hassan Wallace. Let me look at you. Let's see what you got here. What do they need? Ooh, I'm not really sure if they need that.
I mean, Van Vliet might be gone.
Van Vliet might be gone, so he might be good. He might be a good replacement.
Yeah, Hassan Wallace is like great at defense.
Yeah, he's commonly compared to Drew Holiday.
Yeah, shades of Drew Holiday and Anthony Melton. But
you know who I think could be good for Toronto? Jordan Hawkins from the defending national champs, UConn.
Or I wouldn't be surprised if they took a player like Bilal Koulibaly or
from
Olivier
France?
Maxence Prosper.
Yeah, he was Wemby's teammate.
That's right.
And
That's who I
they
think
love
they're
the
going.
long, lanky guys that they can play from anywhere from the 2 to the 5.
Kind of like OG Anunoby,
Pascal
right?
Siakam and OG
Yeah.
Anunoby
Yeah.
and Scotty Barnes and pretty much literally anybody else in this roster that's not named Fred VanVleet.
Yeah, plus he's
and Bilal would fit that archetype.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus he
If he
got a
develops
lot
an
better
outside-
as a shooter.
Yeah.
I
he
have
needs
them.
to develop an
I
outside
actually
shot,
had
though.
Koulibaly going to the Thunder, so I had them taking Kassan Wallace here because they need a guy that's not a lanky wing, whether or not Van Vliet's going to be there or not. And I think Kassan Wallace would be the one to kind of fill that Van Vliet role if they're going to move on from him. But if they do go below the French guy to play with Wemby,
Yeah, I think it's Koulibaly or Wallace, in my opinion.
that lineup of like 4 guys that are all between like 6'6" and 6'9" with like 7-foot wingspans, like that's just terrifying to think about.
And if he develops an outside shot, I think he could be like Mikal Bridges.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with for the Toronto pick for the 13th pick. I'm gonna go with Kassan Wallace from Kentucky.
There you go. Calipari products, man.
I'm gonna go with
And
him
he actually
because
has a brother.
he actually defends. He actually defends compared to Fred VanVleet.
He's a lot bigger.
He's also a lot bigger too in terms of size. Fred VanVleet might be looking for a new contract with another team, so there's that there.
Yeah, it's probably time for them.
Yeah, worst case, you might be getting Marcus Smart.
Yeah,
which isn't a bad thing.
not a bad thing at all. Defensive Player of the Year.
Compared to Van Vliet's defensibility, yeah, absolutely. That'd be amazing for them.
So yeah, I feel like he can defend. Not only can he defend, he can catch and shoot. He has a soft touch from all over the floor. I mean, from one looking at, it's 34.6% from 3, so decent on 4 3-pointers a game. However, his 2.1 turnovers per game is a little bit high, even though he has only 4.3 assists. So it's kind of a bit of a liability with that when it comes to turnovers. But I feel like with his defense, he'll be a much better option compared to what they currently have right now with Fred VanVleet, especially when Fred is offered a higher contract from more lucrative contract compared to with other teams. So going to go with Kassan Wallace.
14, New Orleans Pelicans. This one's tough. So I'm tempted to say that if Koulibaly's still on the board at this point, they would take him. But the guy that I see them going for whatever reason, is Kobe Buffkin.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, Kobe Buffkin from a really terrible school that nobody cares about.
Michigan.
Yeah, Kobe
brother's
Buffkin
in
from Michigan. I went to Ohio State, so me and your brother got some beef, Meyer.
But my
it's
brother
okay.
actually went to Howard, though. But he grew up like in Michigan.
I got you. Yeah. Yeah, Matt, don't worry. I have more to say than just that. This guy, well, here, let me see if you guys can guess the player comparison we have for him. He's shifty. He moves around real fast. He can shoot the 3 ball, and he's a guard from Michigan.
Jordan Poole.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think everyone else is trying to catch the lightning in the bottle they had with Jordan Poole, with how he's been playing for the Warriors, and they're trying to catch him here. And I think, well, let's see, who's New Orleans starting now? Alvarado still at the point guard?
Yeah.
Or CJ started.
Yeah, no, CJ then. Okay. You know, I think if you're the 14th team drafting here, you're not really expecting more than like a decent rotation player or role player for you coming off the bench as your like 7th, 8th guy. And I think, you know, he had some good value to that Pelicans team. It's not like they need that much help offensively, but it's just another case of they kind of just need maybe a 3-and-D guy to, you know, patch up any holes that they have. You know, he's 6'4". He's not that small for a point guard. I think he can offer some good upside here. Meyer, you said you like this pick too, right?
Yeah. I actually think he's more of a combo guard. And I think he's a better defender than Jordan Poole. So I lean towards more somebody like Avery Bradley or DeAnthony Melton as another thought as well. But yeah, like you said, I think he does add more value to that New Orleans Pelicans roster at the guard position. Because they have missed on some picks and signings in the past. So I feel like this would make up for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great pick by the Pelicans. I think they're taking somebody from the University of Michigan. I just don't know which one. It could be his teammate Jet Howard. Slightly better shooter. The Pelicans have needed some shooting for a while now. So, and like, he could be the perfect opposite player of Alvarado when they need a break, because Alvarado is more of a defensive-minded player. Jet Howard, really his specialty is shooting. Can't really offer much else, but
Yeah.
perfect offsetting player. Also play alongside CJ McCollum. But Jet Howard's a little taller than Bufkin.
Yeah, no one's gonna have to assess what they know they have coming back and the Zion thing and whatever it is.
Shit, man, honestly, it's crazy.
They're in a good spot here.
Yeah,
I
think,
despite picking 14th or lottery, they're picking in a good spot here. And David Griffin's he was great for the Cavs. He'll be great for New Orleans.
And they already have their core. They just need to build around their core and add some good role players.
They really can't go wrong here with either one of the Michigan guys, I think.
Definitely not. All right.
So we're supposed to talk about sleepers after this?
15th pick, I believe. I think
Do we want to
Matt said we have one more pick left. I think he said we have 3 picks left. So
No, that was like a few picks ago. Though.
Yeah, no, he said that was the last pick.
Matt, was that the last
It was
one
just
we're
the
doing?
lottery.
the lottery, yeah. Because are we just doing a lottery?
Yeah.
Probably just do the lottery.
And then we could talk about some other guys that didn't go lottery.
Yeah, or we could just
That we
wrap
like
it
it.
up by doing sleeper. Each pick a sleeper.
Yeah,
Okay.
we want to just each pitch or sleeper. We'll go from there. All right, Jeremy, do you want to say
Let
something?
me look at sleepers here. Let me go do it to the late first round here.
You can take mine if you want.
I don't know what yours is.
Bryce Sensabaugh from Ohio State.
Hold on a second.
Of course, I was going to talk about him. Come on.
Let's see here. Ooh, I like me some 3-and-Ds.
Who are you looking at?
Oh, damn. What the hell? You guys haven't talked about Maxwell Lewis?
Oh, from Pepperdine?
Well, why don't you talk about him?
Dude, he's got 17.1 points on 56.8 true shooting. 35% from the field on 4.3 threes per game. His turnover ratio is
He
high.
was talked about a lot.
His turnover
early
ratio is
in the
very high.
process.
I think I'm going to go with Maxwell Lewis.
Go for it.
That's my sleeper pick right there. It's got 3-and-D quality. He's lanky with a wingspan of 7 feet. He's not really much of an isolation scorer according to the Ringer. I think he has defensive capabilities, even though it was sort of regressed in his college year and in his sophomore season. But I feel like he sort of can bring that back if he's used adequately. I mean,
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that he has a lot of scoring responsibility, so he's going to be tired on the other end. But if I had to give him a player comparison, I'd probably say Devin Vassell from the San Antonio Spurs.
he's got a playmaking skill and vision for dishing to bigs and dunker spot. So, like, he can be an extra playmaker, but not the primary one. Pull up, you can pull up from anywhere. He's got a catch and shoot 3 capabilities. I think, yeah, sleeper pick. I like the points. I mean, even though it was he was a primary scorer, I do like the points. I mean, 5.7 rebounds with a 10.4 rebound percentage. I think he's based on what I'm reading, I'm gonna call him my sleeper pick. I haven't seen him play though, but sleeper pick for sure.
And fun fact, Pepperdine is where they shot Zoe 1-on-1.
That is a fun fact.
This is true.
Shit.
That's a very fun fact. Yes.
Zoe 101. That was my show back in the day.
It was mine too.
I had a huge crush on Victorious, the girl from Victorious in the show.
Victoria
Oh, hell
Justice.
Oh, Victoria
Justice.
Justice. Yeah, her and
Yeah.
Jamie. Bro, Zoe 101, man. Great show. They made
I
a reboot.
wasn't really into Jamie Lynn Spears. She wasn't really
Now,
mine.
low key, the nerdy girl.
Low key though, yeah, the dirty girl, yeah, she was. She kind of, yeah, she was there. She was there.
Yeah, Quinn. Yeah.
Quinn, yeah. She was cute at times. The one dude that I was like, this guy's a dick. Is
Logan.
Logan. Oh my god. Always wore the freaking wife beaters or like it was like those sleeve cut tees.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Anyways,
Who's next for sleep?
I'll go.
I'll give. Oh, go ahead, Brian.
Well, first of all, because we don't get many professional athletes at the school I went to at Marist. So my sleeper, he's probably not even on this list, Matt, but you could try to find him. He's a center. Patrick Gardner, 6'11", big that can shoot. Kind of has a nice little feel to him too. He started at the community college level, worked his way all the way up to D1. We got to the conference championship and then lost, but he's already had workout with 8 teams: the Magic, the Celtics, the Warriors, the Wizards. I can't remember the other teams, but anyone that gets him kind of have to be a development guy. He's gonna need to put some weight on if he wants a successful career, but he can definitely be a late second round undrafted free agent caliber guy that under the right system could definitely be helpful. But my unbiased sleeper is the shooting guard from the University of Miami that got all the way to the national championship, Isaiah Wong. I think he's a guy that can score at 3 levels at will. Had a career year for the Hurricanes, kind of put them on the map. I mean, these sleepers, like, this draft class isn't as star heavy as it usually is, but there's a lot of under the radar guys that I think just aren't getting enough attention. Isaiah Wong's definitely one of those players. I mean, I can go on forever about sleepers because I think there's a lot of them for each specific teams, but like one comparison sleeper, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. Mike Miles Jr. looks a lot like Drew Holiday.
TCU.
But
A lot of sleepers from Brian. All right. He's gritty. I like it.
I got a question for you. So I know that you wrote that article about Emoni Bates, and I actually did recognize that name when I was I don't know, I think I was watching some videos of like this player is going to shock the NBA like way back in like 2020, 2019. So where do you think he'll end up? Like, who do you think will draft him based on your article? And it was a really good one too. Very, very well
I appreciate
written.
that. I can see a team like the Hornets taking a chance on him. Or maybe even, I think somebody could trade into that 30 slot and potentially draft him at the end of the first round. I think he could either be this year's Peyton Watson, where he sneaks into the first round, or he could be Jaden Hardy, where he was supposed to be a top 5 pick and then slipped in the draft, like throughout the process.
Okay.
Because Emoni Bates was like the guy coming out of high school.
Yeah,
I like the whole thing was like he was supposed to be like the number, like he was supposed to be top 5 like already when he was coming out.
He was
of high
supposed
school.
to be Kevin Durant 2.0.
Those were the videos I watched, and how like basketball YouTubers would talk so much about him. So that's kind of why his name was like, oh, it sounds familiar. I don't think I've watched him.
I almost want to see him on a developing team just to see like how much potential he really has. I feel like if he doesn't get that much time, I mean, whether it's the Hornets or whatever it is,
low-key the Jazz,
I just want to see what he can do.
They could use some more young guys.
The
Jazz got all the time in the world to develop some guys, so why not take a chance?
And the Spurs, I would like to see him develop on the Spurs. I think that would be good.
Popovich's system,
possibly in the second round though.
Okay.
I think that would actually help his career though, because he'd be forced to, play within a team system, because that's been the main criticism about his game.
I don't know.
But I also have other sleepers that I want to name too. Well, we might know this guy, but Jordan Hawkins from UConn. I think he'll be a really good fit on the Lakers. Actually, he reminds me of KCP actually in terms of his ability to shoot off the catch, and he's a good athlete in space, but could improve his defense. Another guy I would say is Olivier Maxence Prosper, who helped his draft stock during the combine. I think he's one of the biggest sleepers in this class. He actually reminds me of Pascal Siakam when he was a prospect. I think he's gonna start his career more as a spark plug rather than somebody who's gonna give you 10 points. But I think if he develops his outside shot, I think he could end up being a permanent starter in this league. Another guy, I touched on him already, but Chris Murray, I think he'll be a great fit for the Warriors.
Yeah.
And Kobe Jones is another one. I think he would be a good fit on either Memphis or Indiana, especially if Indiana decides to move on from Buddy Hield. He reminds me a little bit of Josh Hart. I think he could become a more consistent outside shooter, but overall he's a do-it-all guard. And my last guy is Brandon Podziemski from Santa Clara. He's a left-hand shooter, one of the top shooters in the draft. I see a lot of Luke Kennard in this game.
Okay. All right.
I actually didn't even hear of this guy from Santa Clara. Okay.
Okay. Damn.
Pretty highly rated, too.
Highly
Check
rated.
that out.
And I had him mocked to Indiana, actually.
Could always use someone to catch and shoot from Tyrese Halliburton, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I sort of mentioned what's his face? What was he in the draft? I forgot his name. Jeez.
Somebody.
Yeah, it was fuck, what was he? Jarris Walker, or I believe it was also Taylor Hendricks too.
notes.
So yeah, no, that's a lot of sleepers apparently. So with this NBA draft, according to Meyer, I do like that though, because like it kind of makes the NBA draft very interesting. You never really see like the predictable players to be selected in the draft. There might be some more than meets the eye compared to as far as the top 5 picks go compared to the rest. This NBA draft is looking really unpredictable with the rest of these NBA players, based on y'all's information, and the more you guys talk about it, the more I'm like, damn, I gotta watch more NCAA.
We'll make it happen, don't worry.
We'll make it happen. Yeah.
I'll finish it off with mine real quick, and I'll make it quick.
Sure.
Bryce Sensabaugh from the Ohio State University. This guy is an NBA level scorer already. He can score really well through contact. He moves very quickly with how big of a frame he has. He was absolutely lights out from outside this year. Notice how I'm talking all about scoring, because defensively he's going to be a liability in his first couple years. But if you get a team like, honestly, I'm thinking like Sacramento at like I think 25 maybe. That could pick him up. Yeah, like just it's not like they need they're not in desperate need of more scoring, but just to have another option off the bench for him to he's a bigger guy, so he can definitely fit in well in the rotation there, I think. And I this guy, like I said, he's already an NBA level scorer. He's a big body. I don't think he's going to have that much trouble adjusting to the speed or the physicality of the game. And I think if a team that already is I felt like Sacramento was almost there, almost to where they needed to be this year. And I feel like he would be a good piece there. I think any of those teams from like 22 to 30, though, can really benefit from picking up Mr. Sensabaugh. I'm definitely not biased at all, but I do like him a lot. And I expect to see him contribute from day one with whatever team he's at.
And I've seen him often compared to guards, but I see him more in that 3-4 mold. I see him more as like a Marcus Morris type.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with how big he is, absolutely. And I would also like to say he was pretty much the only good thing on an absolutely terrible season for the Buckeyes.
Because the year before, they were good when they had E.J. Liddell and Malachi Branham.
Yeah. That was a year we should have had back, honestly. But I won't get too far into that, or else.
Didn't they lose to Chet Holmgren in them?
No. Like you're talking in the tournament?
Yeah, in 2022.
Shit, no, I can't think. We lost to somebody good. I know that because we really had no business being there. We lost to Oral Roberts a couple years before that. But
Midcourt Max.
Yeah, that hurt. But I digress. Bryce Sensabaugh, someone's going to pick him up. He's going to be a contributor from day one. That's all I got.
Contributing from day one. All right.
Go Bucks.
Anybody else want to do any sleeper picks?
think we pretty much covered.
Most of what we could do. Awesome.
Yeah. But
All right.
I was thinking about this. So, like, the Knicks currently don't have a pick, but I would find it so funny if they did what the Warriors did a few years ago and buy a draft pick. Because do you guys remember that when the Warriors paid the Wizards $3.5 million to buy their second-round draft pick and they took Jordan Bell?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was originally drafted by Chicago, and then got traded.
Something like that.
I would just love to see this year if someone buys a pick again.
I think another sleeper that'll be good for them is Ben Shepherd. I think his game actually is similar to a player they already have on their roster, Quentin Grimes.
Yeah.
So he would
Grimes
add
big
some
fan,
outside shooting, some passing, and some defense.
I think
Brian isn't the biggest fan of Quentin Grimes, though. So
yeah, sure.
You're speaking his love language right now.
I think another sleeper could be a former MAC player, and Andy probably watched him a lot. This past year, Jalen Pickett.
That's the guy right there. Yeah.
Oh, from Penn State.
Yeah, he used to
His
be
game is
at
very
Siena.
old school, though.
No, he is very old school. Like, there's nothing like crazy about him athletically, but he still, for some reason, can just score at will.
He plays like he's in the 70s.
He does.
damn, that's old.
Where do they have him going? Let's see.
Just imagining that sort of.
Yeah, I'm
twist
going
off.
like 50s.
Okay, so I'm seeing like 46 to Atlanta, maybe. Would be excited. I'm always going to cheer for Big Ten basketball unless you go to Michigan, so why not?
Okay. You guys got to give me a crash course on NCAA because like there's a bunch of like divisions.
All right, start by watching
Not
Big 12. Probably
not
the best
now.
conference.
Maybe like when the season hits.
ACC. Well, I went to an ACC school. So.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
a Carolina guy, but the Big 12 is probably the most competitive conference.
Gotcha.
Lately, the SEC, though, was great.
I refuse to watch college football because like I'm just not interested. Like I'm like
It's the same teams every year.
I'm like barely interested in the NFL, and I know a casual fan from the NFL. I just kind of got bored of it because the Texans were just so disappointing every single year. So I just was like,
they
are a poverty franchise. I mean, they got
Hey, they got
D'Amico
a bright
Ryan, former
future
Texan.
now.
But they're the most recent franchise that joined
Yeah,
the league.
so they're on the come up. I mean,
Yeah,
this
you got
could
a
be
bright
a
future,
decent
though.
year.
Bryce
Yeah,
Young.
bright
Will
future.
Anderson.
CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, CJ Stroud, I meant. CJ Stroud, Will Anderson.
I'm so
Go
glad.
Bucks.
Yeah. But yeah, for NCAA, I do need to really just get to know and understand all the divisions and the types of leagues and like how things go. I mean, I only watch like March Madness really. But
Well, there's
I
also
barely
like
even know.
tests that you can take like to determine your fandom. It's like, do you like offense or defense? And then it's like, do you like 3-point shooting or
I like defense.
Oh, you'd love Virginia
Oh,
basketball.
I hate them.
I hate Virginia.
I don't know why. I
They're
love
boring.
low scoring games because you just never know who's gonna make a point.
You would love Virginia basketball. is what
They're
I'm saying.
boring. to
Like
me.
I miss like
Or used to.
the way the Spurs used to play, or like games from the 1980s to like the mid 2000s where the average scoring in each NBA game was like 90 points.
Oh my God, Jeremy,
It
your
was
favorite. Matt brought up a good point actually. Your favorite team, like ever in college basketball, like one single team, is probably Florida State when they had Scotty Barnes.
Okay.
They weren't that
Okay.
good, though.
Okay.
No, they
Even though
weren't,
they
but
had
they
a
just
list-
had the lowest scoring games ever.
It hurt to watch that team.
The one game that I really liked watching, and I had no idea who was playing what until obviously like a couple of years ago, was the Villanova and the North Carolina game, I believe.
Oh, that's
Fuck
when
that
Chris
game.
Jenkins with the shot.
Hit the game-winning
Fuck
shot
that
after
game.
it was
Stop.
tied.
Jenkins,
Stop.
Ryan Archidiakono, yeah.
Stop.
Mark that Marcus Page 3 where he like double pumps and then shoots
A
it
miracle.
is the greatest shot that will forever be forgotten.
It was
greatest
awesome.
forgotten
It was
shot.
so cool. And of course, Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson were on the same team. So
And Mikael Bridges was there,
fuck
but he ain't
Christian
get
Jenkins.
much.
yeah, it was cool. What a cool game to watch. Anyways, I think we can conclude this right here. We're almost to 3 hours recording this, or a little over that. But thanks so much for watching, guys. This was our mock draft of the NBA draft for Back Sports page. The experts below me clearly know what they're doing, but me, I'll learn as I go. But I'm pretty sure the pick that I picked as a sleeper will do well. I even forgot his name. What the fuck was his name?
Yeah, that's
What?
Bryce Sensible.
No, not him.
Mine was Bryce Sensible.
Not him. Oh my god, I'm such a dumbass.
You know what? Just
Was it
rewind it.
Jordan
Whoever it was,
Hawkins?
I'm sure Jimmy.
Maxwell Lewis.
Oh,
Maxwell Lewis from Pepperdine. The school that they shot Zoe 101. I'll remember that. But yeah, this has been Cut the Nets mock draft. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. Also follow us on our Spotify page as well. We'll be uploading episodes 15 through 28 of Cut the Nets episodes. We hope you enjoyed this edition of our mock draft for BSP. Don't forget the NBA draft is on Thursday this week, June 22nd. So yeah, thanks guys for joining us. Me, Jeremy, Brian, my co-host. Appreciate you guys for coming out. Our guests, Meyer and Andy. You guys have been great with all your college basketball knowledge and things of that nature. You guys have been great. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, that's it for this episode of Cut the Nets. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.